Yes, freedom, 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 freedom. Yes, freedom. Some people would say separation is the key. Some people would stay and pretend to be free. Some would be staying in dilemma. Listen to your heart and choose a life. I wanna live in peace. I wanna be free. I wanna live in peace. I wanna be free. Freedom, freedom, freedom. Yes, freedom, 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 freedom. Yes, freedom. No more bribery in my mama land. No, no more slavery in my mama land. No, my God created me and put me where I should be. My God created me and gave me all the things I need. Who are you to stop me from being who I am? Who are you to take away what I have?
السلام عليكم. خليني أسلم عليكم كلكم مشاهدين لصوت الشعب أينما كنتم. ناس المشاهدين في الفيسبوك يا ريت لو انتوا عملتوا شير للحلقة that actually will be good. اعملوا شير للحلقة. كذلك ناس اللي في يوتيوب السلام عليكم. خليني أسلم على الناس اللي في كلاب هاوس. مرحبا بكم جميعا بمقامات بتاعتكم. طبعا نحن في الحلقة بتاعت الليلة ده لأول مرة طبعا من بدينا المنصة إنه نحن نستضيف جنرال Oyay Deng Ajak for the first time طبعا. للأسف الشديد المفروض هو يكون معنا في لايف فيسبوك لكن ويوتيوب الشبكة وده كلها ما تسمع لذلك، ولذلك قلنا كنا نستخدم وسيلة تانية لنحاول نستضيفه عبر الوسيلة ده. وجاس خليكم معي one just minute. جاس خليكم معي.
And by your recon cook until we can chill down, that will and jelly, on the way there, chill down. Junga Panyara Wayong, Tokali and Yanyang Kalejon, I let the way down, my young people are. My young Junga Panyara Wayong, Tokali and Yanyang Kalejon, I let the way down, my young people are. Mayong kusunya panjara wayong lupa lejan yang kelejon malai kewita mayong berarti aku taruh jagai berkorane korane kejenan wa korane Cuidado ya que no adorane, adorane, desciendan va, adorane. Lana terkena mai budi kelong cukup ulang ngekepit. We con di kanyal, we con di kanyal, we con lana kelaramit dan terkena mai budi kelong cukup ulang ngekepit. We con di kanyal, we con di kanyal, we con lana kelaramit dan orang yang ngajak away kan dinai kurang away laka irol cendan wa ambulan kelong orang yang ngajak away kan dinai kurang away.
Hello. Actually, we are live. It's good, actually. Just give me 1 second. Let me try to adjust the volume. Okay. I hope those on Clubhouse, you guys here in general, those in Clubhouse and also on Facebook, YouTube. Ito sa amin general ya kwana. كده اعملوا كومنت يا اخواننا انتوا لو سامعين جنرال كده دقيقه انا داير احاول اكون سماع كل ما تتكلم كده نسمع صوتك.
I'm very okay, very clear. I'm getting you well. نسمع صوتك كويس.
Very good. Then I'm hearing you well. كده انت سامعني لأن انا كده مشغل مايك كده سامعني. Are you hearing me now?
Yeah, I'm getting you very clearly. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Yeah, let me welcome you, General Oyay, former Chief of Staff. مرحبا بك في منصة بتاعت صوت الشعب, the Voice of the People Forum. We are pleased to invite you today to our show. بعدك الشعب بتاع جنوب السودان, they will be listening to you. Actually, we have a good number of people that are listening to you in the clubhouse. And also, we have also people actually listening to you in Facebook and YouTube. So welcome. Let's give you a chance to actually to greet the people of South Sudan and also to introduce yourself.
Well, thank you very much, Comrade Edward, and all the people who are with you this evening. يعني واحد مبسوط جدا إنه to listen, to answer questions, and to talk to the people of South Sudan. And هنا يعني زي ما all of you know, we South Sudanese, few years ago, we celebrated something called South Sudan. And of course, we are very, very much happy that we have a country, an independent South Sudan. Unfortunately, this independent is an independent of disappointment. So, but I'm very happy to say hi to everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, General Oyay Deng Ajak. Actually, many people are watching you. Before actually we proceed, I just want to play a very short video, and then we'll be mixing the interview between Arabic and also English, because we want everyone to catch up actually what General Oyay is going to say. Just I want to play this short video. الناس اللي قاعدين فيسبوك ويوتيوب you will see the video. خليكم معي for just. مولانا تريزا لو انت قاعده تهدى على كده اطلع لي فوق لانه في ناس بيطلعوا فوق ديل. So to help me to اجل please مولانا تريزا لو انت قاعده في الروم. Just 1 second, I want to play.
أنا داير بس إنه 4 يوم ونرجع وين؟ يوم 4 يوم بعد 4 يوم يسبيك ميشن بتاعكم يا وليو انتم بململين بإنت أنا قدر يعني كلام سجين كمانا جابل بكم ادو كلام معكم لبا ابدا انت برجع جنبين سلام صح SPLA oyay SPLA oyay Sudan Jadid oyay Cuba oyay Bid oyay Fueda oyay Brigade Taksin oyay Taksin oyay SPLA oyay Tidak tenzim Anina ata من وكر الفات يوم داك اننا جاهزين للماشي قدام ما لنا قاعدين فوق ده اننا في نص هذا كوكانا هنا قريب يا ريت تريد هناك قريب وانا ده نقول لكم انه والماشين بتوريد اننا ماشيين لجوبا ومن جوبا اننا ماشيين قدام أسوأ وانا داير نقول انه الاسئله كله من بترجان يا كرزول رجال سنه ده واننا كتنا في قدام بتاعنا انه في سنه ده هادو ده كله اننا لازم نشيله برا في ايام مال القاعد فوق في الجنوبين قبل my friend Commander Mahmoud قال لكم اننا ماشيين 4 يوم كده وبعد 4 يوم اننا ماشيين كده انا ده نقول لكم اننا ماشيين بعد كوبانا كده كلام انا ده نقول بكلام كده اننا ماشيين 4 يوم Takala bila kokwata, anina banitaka lupinar chimi tohola. Unina banitaka tohola biyong wai. Sana yom, anina majid turi.
General Oyay Deng Ajak, actually you have listened to one of the great moments in Torit. Actually, that was you and Comrade or General Mobutu Mamur. Ya jamana nasal fi clubhouse. I'm very sorry. Finas bijunu fo kana male gizo le side ni ana bak fi clubhouse and I will be continuing. Ana bawasal fi Facebook. Sorry. Yeah, sorry nasal fi clubhouse. Because I will not be handling Ajak Kulu Barai. I will not be able. Aizol leji folk inas aizol ndamule le ajira. So yes, we will continue fi. So General Oyay Deng Ajak, actually my first question to you will be why did we pick up the arms in 1983, considering just the video you have listened to it, and where are we today? Welcome. Fadal. General Tessemitni. General Oyay. Actually, you mute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Hello?
Hello? Yes. Unmute yourself. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I got the question. I just also want us to be very quick because I have also other friends who are waiting for me. So I want us to concentrate very quickly on the question that you would want to ask me. But now, let me start. You know, in the people of South Sudan did not take up in 1983. Yes, we did. But our grandfathers, they fought, and then our fathers, they fought in 1991, and then it came all the way to us. And if you can go back, yani, to our historically, they said, "Kene dagwanye kang pinge katong." Dawarabal, Pajgekabul. It means, and then we have even a song with Ashuluk when we were fighting with the Ansar, when we fighting with Shaigia, and they say, Shaigi, Dogalwagi, you won't kujurmek. You know, people, we have been fighting. We fought with the invaders who have been trying to invade the land and the territory, Bita Shuluk or Bita South Sudan all these years. But in 1983, we went to the bushes of South Sudan because we felt that there are so many agreements which have been signed with Khartoum, and Khartoum did not respect those agreements. And we said, finish. What can we do if the agreements which are signed are not respected? The only thing left to us is to go back and fight, and we liberate ourselves. So basically, that's what the reason, because the agreement, so many agreements dishonored, and that's was the reason why we took up to fight.
Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, my second question, because you said actually you don't have enough time. In last week's interview, you said when you came to Juba, your comrades divided themselves, and the NCP managed to take over Salva Kiir. Can you explore more on that? Because we want people to understand what exactly happened before we go to the second question.
You know, if I can go back a little, when the Addis Ababa agreement was signed, it was an agreement between South Sudanese and the North Sudanese or the Sudanese who have been dividing us and fighting us. And when the Addis Ababa agreement was signed and they formed the government of South Sudan, Khartoum, President Nemeri himself, who signed the agreement, have used his agent to divide the people of South Sudan. And our elders who were in government in Juba by then, they divided themselves very, very quickly. And people, instead of concentrating to implement the Khartoum agreement, they turned against themselves and they were fighting themselves up to the time when they went and they said, there is this thing called Kokora, and then South Sudanese divided themselves. So this is the same thing that Khartoum did. When we signed the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, the Comprehensive Peace Agreement was an agreement that was going to divide the country into half or into whatever, because the issue of Abyei is part of the Comprehensive Peace Agreement. The issue of the Nuba is part of the Comprehensive Peace Agreement. The Southern Blue Nile is part of the Comprehensive Peace Agreement. And Khartoum, what they did is they sent their agent, those who were fighting with us who were in Khartoum, they came back to Juba and they were paying them money. Khartoum was paying them money. And then those who were in South Sudanese who were opposition to SPLM, all of them came to Juba and they hijacked the movement. They created very serious rumors and agitation, and they mobilized Salva. And given President Salva weaknesses, he allowed himself to be used by the enemy of the people of South Sudan to divide South Sudan. So it is a long history, and it is a long history which they did in Addis, the first Addis Ababa agreement, and it is the same thing which they did when we signed the CPA in 2004, 2005. And they wanted Khartoum, by then were in hurry, and they paid a lot of money. They wanted even the fighting which took place in 2013, Khartoum wanted it to take place before that. They wanted it to take place before the referendum. And that's why I said in that interview which you listened to, I was accused 5 times. Yeah, that's I wanted to make a coup. And in many meetings we did in Juba and in Khartoum as the chairman of the Joint Defense Board, even Bashir reduced himself to insulting me in front of in many meetings that we have done there. So this is precisely what happened.
Very good. Also, I want you actually to I want to follow up with also question. Last time, actually, you mentioned Kir doesn't want a national army. Instead, actually, he was for his tribal army, while actually you were transforming the SPLA into the national army. Can you explain to South Sudanese General Oyay Deng Ajak exactly what happened and why today we don't have national army? And also, you are blamed as the first chief of staff for failing of transforming the army into the national army.
The people of South Sudan will one day come to their senses, and they will appreciate and they will congratulate me as the first SPLA chief of general staff. You know, and not only the first SPLA chief of general staff. From the beginning of the movement, from 1983, I worked as the director of General Intelligence Service in the SPLA and with John Grant. And then after that, I was assigned to Northern Upper Nile to command Katipa Shoda. I stayed only with Katipa Shoda for 2 years. And then I was called back. So I have been, from then, when it comes to SPLA, combat operation and military organization or whatever, there has been, in the military, there was John Garang, who was senior to me. There was Salva Kiir and me, number 3. Of course, there was High Command. I was not a member of High Command. But militarily, I was the chief of operation of SPLA, and the people, the record are there, the document are there. So when it comes to SPLA operation, that's been done almost everywhere. I was the chief of operation for all the operations that were done. So now when we signed the agreement and I was appointed chief of general staff, and John Grant instructed me, is to reorganize, restructure, and transform SPLA into a real national army. What does a national army mean? It means this national army must come from all over the three greater regions of Southern Sudan, and they must be balanced. You know, balancing mean if it is we have 100,000 SPLA, then can we have 35 or 30,000 or 40,000 from Bargadal, 30,000 from Equatoria, 30,000 from Upper Nile? And in Upper Nile or in Bargadal or in Equatoria, you go back to district, to tribal representation. And that's why I said in that interview that John Grant looked at us and said, oh yeah, I want you to transform a national army that the people of South Sudan will look at and like a mirror, and all of them see themselves inside that mirror. And this is what I was doing to transform SPLA. And we did the best in transforming SPLA, mixing up SPLA, and working how do we make this army a professional army. That is one thing I did, and we concentrated and we invested a lot of energy, a lot of resources in doing that one, and we did the best. Now, while I was doing this, Salva Kiir was now working to transform a private army, and he did this private army by recruiting specifically in 3 areas. Not really recruiting in 3. He recruited 2 areas. One is northern Bargadal, which is Awel, and Warab state. This now the so-called Tiger Division. They were recruited not through the chief of general staff of SPLA and not through the minister of SPLA. They were recruited, and Salva Kiir was working with some people. Some of them are my friend like Malong, and he recruited, and they were trained not by SPLA. They were trained locally, and they were brought to Luri, and they were put up in Luri. Then, because Salva Kiir was fighting with and having a political differences with Riek Machar, he wanted to use Polynomatic. And the bodyguard of Polynomatic, that were in Juba, there were 1,000 soldiers, 1,500, mostly Nuer from Bentiu. So these Nuer from Bentiu, bodyguard of Polynomatic, and then 500 bodyguard of Riek Machar, who were also Nuer. They were all of them, Polynomatic was a militia, and the soldiers of Polynomatic were not trained in SPLA. They were just brought into Juba. And then one time they even wanted to attack me in my headquarters. So the bodyguard of Polynomatic from Bentiu, the bodyguard of Riek Machar from Bentiu, were now mixed with 5,000, 5 to 7,000 soldiers that Salva Kiir brought from northern Barghazal, from Awel and Warab. And then they created something called Tiger Division or Tiger Unit, Presidential Bodyguard. These presidential bodyguard, they were not, and they are not under the SPLA. They are directly under the president. And then they are trained in Luri. Their uniform is bought by a Kolkor from National Security, and their weapons are bought by a Kolkor, and not the Minister of Defense, and not the Chief of Staff of SPLA. So you cannot have a country that have a private army which is being run privately. That is what I said. Salva Kiir have intentionally destroyed SPLA, didn't respect, didn't trust SPLA, and he was trusting this tribal army that he created, and which is still happening today in South Sudan.
The follow-up question, General Oyay, actually, like you mentioned, Salva Kiir started actually recruited the tribal militias in 2012. Why he were not stopped by General Chief of Staff by then, and why actually the leaders of SPLM they did not stop him?
No, Salva Kiir, the Chief of General Staff, James also took over from me, was marginalized, and they did not have any voice to say it. Coleman Young, who was the Minister of Defense by then, he was subdued, or he agreed with Salva, I don't know. And Salva did this. Let me tell you this. When this force, which was brought from Northern Barghazal, and Warab, when they were armed and then graduated in Luri, Paul Manyang and Jimmy Os might be in a protest. I did not ask them up to now. They were invited to go for the graduation, and they refused. They didn't go for graduation of that force. So you can see how it was a protest from them, but they did not take the courage to stop Salva from what he was doing. Yeah.
Yep. So then now Salva Kiir actually got chance. He recruited militias, and now he's using them. How can he be stopped, General Oyay Deng Ajak?
You know, you cannot stop a dictator, and politically. And this is what I said when I was doing this interview with Matian. You know, when 2014, when we were released from jail and then the case was dismissed, it was 4 of us who were left behind. But when the case was dismissed, that there was no case at all, there was no any coup attempt or anything. Me, I wanted to leave immediately, Juba. My brother Pagan and Majanga God, they want to stay to remain in Juba. And then when I went to the airport, I was returned. They prevented me from flying out. And I said, okay, fine, we stay. So we stayed for 3-4 days. And we thought we were going to meet Salva Kiir. So instead of meeting Salva Kiir, we were called now one day that you go to the airport. So we were deported from Juba. We were put in a plane. We were brought to Kenya forcefully by Kenyan national security, because the arrangement and the agreement was thus Salva Kiir. President Uhuru Kenyatta wanted us to leave South Sudan so that we are safe and peaceful. We came to Kenya. And when we came to Kenya, went to Addis, and we were having all these meetings, we refused, especially me personally. I refused that. I don't want to go to the bush. I don't want to take arm, because if I take arm, the children that I will mobilize on the side with Ariak Meshar on the other side are the children of our fallen heroes who have been fighting for SPLM, SPLA. I don't want to go to war and fight them again. The children who will be fighting with me on that side of Salva Kiir are the children of my fallen heroes, SPLA officers and soldiers who died during the struggle. So we put our heart and our energy in working seriously. That lets us have a real peace agreement, and we go back to Juba, implement that agreement, and now we will go and discuss and form the party. Are we going to have SPLM again, or are we going to have a different SPLM? So we refused to join Yagu, who was fighting with Salva Kiir. It was a good intention that we don't want to fight. But to be honest with you, we are now 10 years. And 10 years have gone. All the agreements that were signed with Salva Kiir has refused to implement anything. So the only option left, coming directly to your question now, the only option left to us and to me is to fight with Salva Kiir. So I have been keeping quiet all this time to say, let's give option, let's give a chance to peace implementation. But there is no peace implementation. We are now going to 10 years and there is no peace. So the only option, the only option is for Salva Kiir to be fought, like Mobutu has been fought, like Idi Amin has been fought, like many dictators have been fought in this world, and especially in Africa.
So that means, General Oyay, now actually you're preparing yourself for new rebel movement, or actually what's going to happen exactly? Can you explain more to the people of South Sudan?
Of course, we committed ourselves all these years to say, we committed ourselves all this time to say that we are ready to sit down with Salva and have their own peace process. But now Juba, they don't want their own peace process, and there is no peace in South Sudan. And this election they are talking about is fake. So the only option left to us now is to fight Salva Kiir and to remove Salva Kiir forcefully, and then really reorganize a transitional period, and then allow the people of South Sudan to return back to their home areas, and then go for election. So this is my mission, period.
Okay. The follow-up question also, are you going to put your hand together with General Thomas Cirillo, General Paul Malong, or what exactly, General Oyay, also General Garwich, and also there is there in the bush, you're one of the staff, General Stephen Boy. Tell me what's going to happen to give them hope.
All this, when we were in SPLA, like you said before, I was very, we were friends, comrades, brothers, and whatever. So we are going to work together. I'm going to appeal and to ask them to join me, and then we will work. But it's not about these few or 3-4 individuals you talk about. The whole SPLA. Can you imagine when you look at SPLA? كل الجيش الشعبي في جنوب السودان, they are now cutting charcoal, firewood, to survive and live on. They are going and fishing, for them to take care of their children. They are crying and they are begging. So I'm sure money will join me. Those who don't want to join me, it is up to them. But I'm sure, I'm confident I'm going to have tremendous support from the people of South Sudan on what I'm going to do. And I'm very sorry, look at me, Abi, Wallah.
You don't have more minutes, General?
I will be happy. Chala du wal bang du, we can do it again. But by the way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Kala Juma di Ben, I would have loved to, to be together with the people who are with you online, Lakin. I'm really very sorry. The Nairobi, and most of my time is very compact with so many meetings. And yet,
يا جماعة معلش طبعا الجنرال هو طبعا he have a lot of meeting وانتوا استمعتوا لكلامه ما قدرنا نواصل الانترفيو لكن actually هو ما عنده مشكلة في كلام تاني داير يقوله قبل شوية intentionally want to say that but أنا قفلت الخط because that actually was a message to me and actually also المسج ده كان ممكن يفيد إن شاء الله الناس اللي بيتكلموا شنو ممكن كانوا هم يستفيدوا من الرسالة ده لكن actually there is no need for it. So أنا ما أعرف معي فوق هنا جاكسون واريلا توفيق أنا ما أعرف في كم كراب كده بتاع ناس قاعدين فوق I don't know what going to happen يا جماعة أنتوا براكم استمعتوا للكلام بتاع جنرال والمسج بتاعه المهم طبعا you're going to cooperate with ناس General Thomas وجنرال ستيفن بوي مالونج وكل الناس الجنرالات اللي قاعدين في جوبا اللي هم هسه شايلين السلاح. جنرال جاي قالوا بواضح ما في خيار قدامه الا يرفع سلاح ويحارب سلفا كير وسلفا يمشي. يا جماعه وريلي الان اقدر نقفل اللايف. توفيق جاكسون نقفل الفيسبوك ونستمر هنا because there will not be no meaning عشان نستمر ثاني في فيسبوك لانه جنرال بيجا ما في يعني انا كل داير الناس. لكن انا بوعدكم انا برتب ثاني مع جنرال. الناس اللي قاعدين في فيسبوك انضموا لنا في كلاب هاوس. It was a very short interview. We'll continue في كلاب هاوس برضه لو دايرين تقولوا حاجه في كلام اللي قاله جنرال حسا. The message is very clear to the people of South Sudan. ما في طريقه سلفا ده بدا يعمل ريكروتمنت لميليشيا قبليه من 2012 و actually people tried to stop him. They failed. كذلك جنرال جيمس هوزماي وكان محمشينه فما قدر يعمل حاجه. ولذلك هل كول منيان هو كان مع سلفا كير كلام ده ما طبعا لانه الكول ما عمل حاجه وكان وزير الدفاع خلى سلفا كير يستمر في recruiting the tribal army في جنوب السودان. Then General Oyay was saying now there is no option. 2015 لما هو طلع 14 طلعوا من جوبا ومشى نيروبي. ما كانوا دايرين ينضموا لدكتور رياك مشار with good intentions زي ما انتم سمعتوا قبل شويه. في ناس كثيرين كانوا بيقولوا اوياي ليه ما ينضموا لرياك مشار. قالوا هسه انه هو ما كان عنده intention عشان ينضم لرياك مشار لانه ما كان دايرين يحاربوا. They were not ready to fight لانه اليال اللي هم بيشيلهم يحاربوا ده العيال بتاع جنوب السودان وكده ويال بتاع الزملاء بتاعه وناس برضه فقدوا في غابات. ولذلك no need for him to pick up the arm. But now Salva Kiir is not ready to implement the peace agreement with Dr. Riek Machar. زي ما انتوا قاعد تسمعوا كلام اللي قالوا ناتاني ويت. دكتور رياك مشار الان في جوبا under detention. دكتور رياك مشار في سجن وسلفا كير is not willing to implement the peace agreement with Riek Machar. Now Salva Kiir is talking about the election. وجاء في نيويورك هنا برضه قاعد يكتل في انواع في فشله. انا كان ده سؤال من الاسئله ده نساله كان لجنرال اوياي because الجان شيب قاعد يمشي يضرب وسميتوه اوياي قال الكلام ده هنا وزار يوم مشى في اول فاز اوف شيب ستاف في الحلقه اللي فاتت يوم مشى اشترى الطيارات دي الجان شيب ده عشان كان بيستعد انه الناس ممكن يرجعوا الحرب ثاني مع الشمال. Now Salva Kiir is using all these artilleries to kill the people of South Sudan. Then there is no way out except people have to fight with Salva Kiir. I think that is a good message to the people of South Sudan and give the hope and we'll try to bring General Oyay again for him to come to continue. شكرا لكم وانا بجيف بقفل الفيسبوك هنا وانا هنا نستمر في الكلام هاوس ندي فرصه للناس نيجي تعال قولوا رايكم شنو في الكلام اللي سمعتوه قبل شويه كلام بتاع جنرال اوياي. الروم يكون فاتح في الكلام هاوس بعدين بكره في شو بتاع تريزا. لكن في شو بتاع تريزا برضه بكره لو لسه في حاجه انا ممكن اضيفه هناك انا ممكن اكون هناك we can bring him يتكلم otherwise انا رتب ثاني الحلقه الثانيه. انا داير يوم هو يكون ما مشغول زي الليله ده وكده بعدها هنا ممكن في عنده اجتماعات مهمه جدا فلذلك هو لازم يمشي. شكرا لكم ربنا يبارك فيكم وانا بعتذر نيابه عن الاداره بتاعه صوت الشعب وانا بعتذر برضه نيابه عن جنرال اوياي دينغ اجاك الضيف بتاعنا الليله لفتره القصيره دي. والرساله المهمه وصل انا افتكر في رايي النقاط اللي كنا دايرين نسمعها وصل لكم وشكرا. انا واصل في كلام هاوس. شكرا جزيلا.